Okay, I'm gonna restart the. Okay, I just started the recording. All right. Start in three, two, one. Okay, so today we are lucky to interview William Tan. William, how are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Good to see you, Christopher.
Can you talk to us about, just give us the rundown on your resume and how you became interested in financial tech as an investment banker?
Definitely. So my background is, I started my career as an investment banker at a firm called JMP Securities, working in the Transamerica Pyramid here in San Francisco. Did that for around 2 years, and then after that, moved to Boston for around a year, where I worked at another investment bank called William Blair and Company. And at both those places, I was focused primarily within technology coverage, so basically assisting technology clients. And then more specifically, as it relates to financial technology, during my time at my first job at JNP Securities, I was working with the head of blockchain and digital assets, who was starting up a practice there, trying to bring on clients to advise within the blockchain and digital asset space, on any kind of potential capital fundraisings or M&A transactions. And whether on the buy side or the sell side, aka basically whether selling their crypto companies or whether acquiring some of those companies. So I got very, decently smart, in the space, spent a lot of time in it. And a lot of that culminated into, us, assessing multiple different clients. I mean, I'm happy to riff for quite some time on it, but and then even on top of that, becoming, at the time, borderline thought leaders within the space. I'm going to send you all a quick link um, of an article that we worked with CNBC on, where we were basically kind of giving them guidance um, on the whole blockchain and digital assets industry. And it's actually kind of crazy if you look at it. Bitcoin was at $6,500 then. Um, but it was a time whenever Bitcoin was kind of in a price slump, but we had been seeing tons of cryptocurrency businesses being sold and acquired or buying, businesses out there. So it was something interesting to us that was just like, wow, like as the price has been decreasing and the market's been kind of going into what turned out to be like kind of a crypto winter,
Hmm.
M&A activity continued to grow and excitement around the blockchain technology outside of just crypto. Blockchain technology was really exciting. And now you're seeing, as time goes on, a lot more companies implementing blockchain technology in there. So, you can take a look at this article that I sent you, but basically we were spelling that out for CNBC to be able to report on. And then on top of that, we were chasing a lot of companies. I mean, I mapped out like a large part of the space. Like we were looking at, potentially advising all kinds of cryptocurrency exchanges, like at that time, like your Coinbases of the world. I have
Right.
email exchanges with CZ from Binance, if you're familiar with who that is. And and then even, visiting large Asian exchanges like Huobi, like that was actually um right beside their headquarters at the time in the States was like right beside the Transamerica Pyramid. And we went and pitched them on potentially advising them for the acquisition to acquire multiple different businesses within cryptocurrency and blockchain and digital assets. And we even brought on, some clients that we were doing some consulting work as well too for, which companies that were like more so wallets like your Abras of the world, which was a little bit smaller back then. We were chasing companies like BitGo very much so, and and a large variety of others. So that was kind of like a then and then, I learned quite a lot about it. If it helps as well too. A good friend of mine is also a full-time fintech investor, as well. And it's a massive market. It's a massive market where there's a lot of great big companies. Um, and and yeah, I'm happy to talk about more.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for that extensive answer. And now that we're kind of talking about crypto, I was wondering, just now that we're experiencing this crypto boom, what's your general or like just personal outlook on crypto? Do you think it's something that's going to be widely adopted, or do you think it's a little bit in the overhyped stage, or where is it at in your personal outlook?
I definitely think there's a lot of hype, especially whenever you go to a lot of these altcoins. Like if you look at a lot of these alts, like a lot of these don't have even relevant like business models. Bitcoin, stuff like Bitcoin and Ethereum are pretty much too big to fail at this point. They're just so big. Like if there's so much money being pumped in that has been pumped in already that if it's just not going to fail because it's just like if Bitcoin like skyrocketed down to like $6,000 again, like the whole well, financial markets would just completely collapse as well too, along with it. Um, I would say the whole financial markets, but the whole financial markets would take a tremendous hit as well too. So those coins are like a little bit too big to fail. I could definitely see, more folks, accepting Bitcoin and maybe other types of coins as well. But I see a lot of opportunity in places like the gaming space, like gaming
Mm,
where you can almost tokenize a lot of these kind of digital assets within gaming, like is a very clear use case. And I see that definitely coming a lot going forward. Um, in terms of just using it to spend, like my big issue with it is that like how much different is it than a lot of the existing solutions that you already have in terms of helping you spend like no one uses fiat currency anyway anymore, and they just use their credit card. Like I walk around majority of my time not even having a single dollar in my pocket. So as it pertains to just massive use of Bitcoin on every
mhm,
single transaction that you do, it's less likely, but market as a whole, it's here to stay. There will probably be some utilization of like of different types of tokens that have actual good use cases that make sense, that are needed within stuff like gaming, within stuff like security as well too, and 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 yeah, that's that's probably not a very much yes or no like question. But it's complex. Like it's a big market. There's a lot of different types of stuff. A lot of it is hype. Then there are like some gems in there that will become, that already are really big businesses.
mm. And what led you to like specialize in cryptocurrency as an investment banker or just fintech in general? Like what kind of led to that
Yeah, I
or
mean, a
cross
lot
that
of it
bridge?
was because the head, I worked a good bit with the head of of blockchain and digital assets at JMP, and he was kind of a mentor of mine, so he naturally brought me on, and I became his go-to guy. Aside from that, that's basically it. His name is Satya Bhaskar. You'll see him in the in the article that's mentioned. Did all the work for him basically, and he's a great guy. And I'll be honest, I was in the camp of it was, especially at that time, if you think about it back in 2018, was under the assumption, Bitcoin is very much like a scheme, and I wasn't like really big into it. So, but then like when he brought me onto it, I was like, you know what, like maybe I should be open-minded to like some of this next technologies that could be revolutionary and disruptive to like how things are today. And I've come around to it. I've come around to it. I invest in cryptocurrencies here and there on things that I believe in, and yeah.
Okay, our next question is how does just analyzing and assessing cryptocurrencies, how does that differ from traditional investments or any traditional like banking investments?
It differs by a lot because it, I mean the short of it is just that like I on a day-to-day work at a venture capital firm where we actually invest and assess and diligence like very thoroughly like private businesses that are more traditional type of businesses. And we take a very rigorous approach by getting to know the founders, speaking to them, building relationships, getting access to their financials after signing an NDA, and then really digging into the numbers. We bring in like accountants as well too to make sure those numbers are real. Like we and understand the business, talk to their customers, all kinds of things to really just know the business arguably as well as the CEO of that actual company. Crypto, on the other hand, is very much like vibes. Like, a lot of these companies basically just don't have a like sort of sensible business model. A lot of them don't even have a use case. Like case in point, like you look at like Moodang, who literally went up like 50x in the past however many like weeks. There's no business there. Like there's no business that or service that they're providing or solution that they're providing. It's literally just a vibe. It's a meme, and it's going to rip if enough people pump it, and that's it. And there are some businesses that there are some businesses that have some use cases and actual business models, but at the same time, a lot of these are very disruptive technology, new processes and models that it's really hard to diligence because no one's ever tried it that way before. So it's very different investing in cryptocurrency than traditional investing by a mile because first of all, it's just like you can't like it's really hard. You don't have the same type of data available to that you do in traditional markets to just basically assess and actually do some calculations and do some thought processes on like how just how viable like an investment would be in that business like in crypto. And then on top of that, you just add the fact that it's not very super, it's not the most regulated industry anymore, where you have a lot of like fraudulent activities going on where folks are pumping and dumping like coins, and people are like asking celebrities to say good things about the coin, and the coin pumps like 10x like that day. Like that is not what legitimate business is. And it's very much a vibes thing. It's very much like a lot of pump and dump schemes everywhere. That's not to say like the real businesses like Solana, like Ethereum, like all these different ones are actually those are actually very legit, and they are trying to build applications on top of those platforms. But the vast majority of the others are very much like it's like finger in the air vibes. This is where I think it is. You know, this guy's pumping it on Twitter. That's it.
Mm. Yeah. So how do you even like approach risk assessment in that kind of market? Like, how does that even,
You got to be
how do you,
comfortable. You got to be comfortable with losing all your money when if you invest there. I personally, as like a personal investor, like only allocate probably like a single digit percentage of my portfolio to like actually investing in cryptocurrency. Um, but the risk profile is insanely high because you could lose all your money. But
Mhm,
the reward profile of it, like the upside is like tremendous. Like no other asset class out there, like stocks or bonds, like can you just see like a 50x in like a week? Like that's crazy.
mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of money that people are making out there. Like you go to Miami, you'll see a lot of guys that are, crypto millionaires out there. And a lot of them it's because they just YOLO'd their like net worth into just like some coin that 30x and boom, like you're rich. Um, but you got to be comfortable with, there is no assessing the risk profile. The profile is that you could lose everything.
Actually, made me wonder. So you said, I think a single percentage of your personal investments were crypto. So what are the other investments that you traditionally like to invest in? Stocks, bonds, or what do you personally invest in?
Stocks, bonds, and as it comes to stocks, like selectively a couple like good stocks like US Steel or just stuff like, stuff that is not going to go away. And I put a large portion as well within the S&P 500. Like it's just like a classic play where shown across many decades that if you just put it there, you're going to get a, you know, rate of return that's like 10%. And yeah, so I put a lot of safe bets there, basically.
And our next question was, how disruptive do you think fintech will be to like traditional banking systems? And yeah, or disruptive at all?
I think it'll be pretty disruptive. Like I feel like there's a lot of like solutions out there that are coming out that are basically going to enable and give more power to like the consumer and like a lot of like different or like even you're just general, pedestrian person rather than like big corporate, institutions. And it will, there's a lot of solutions out there that are basically helping your everyday person be able to stand up a business and be able to raise money like easier. Um, whether from some of these crowdfunding platforms or you name it. And yeah, like I think it's a good thing. Like I think there's a, the more businesses, the more individuals are able to stand up a lot of their own particular, individual enterprises using tools like fintech tools, um, is good. And like the more different types of like, fintech, smaller fintech companies that take that can be utilized more advantageously than just going through traditional banks, like is probably a better thing as well too. Um, so yeah, I think it'll be pretty disruptive.
Okay, our next question, I think you kind of touched on it just a little bit at the end, but what opportunities do you see for individuals or startup companies entering the crypto and blockchain sectors, if any?
I would say a lot of opportunity within the gaming space. Being able to just like digitize a lot of these digital assets, like and anchor yourself to a lot of games, or studios that are producing like really viral games. That's a really good way to go because it's probably the most realistic and sensible use case right now for blockchain technology. Other areas are to probably, in areas of security, like data security as well too, is a strong one. Albeit, like there's a lot of cybersecurity businesses out there that are really really good at that already. But blockchain seems like a very good use case within cybersecurity. And then lastly, I would say um, AI. Like AI is like a really good place to marry blockchain and digital assets as well too with it, um, to be able to basically. There are a lot of companies out there that I believe in that are basically utilizing blockchain and cryptocurrencies to be able to use as a utility token to borrow GPU like power to power a lot of these AI models that are coming out. And companies doing that I think are going to be very needed because I think AI has been a hype train for quite a long time, but I think people are starting to realize that AI, you need a lot of computing power to basically power it. And if you can provide a blockchain like solution or a cryptocurrency that can help you access more power, uh, like the better.
So, how would you recommend just the average investor to enter the crypto market? Like, if they didn't have much knowledge on it to begin with, and
I would say, I mean, the safe place to go is I mean, you just probably download any one of these types of like wallets or exchanges and just start investing. Only allocate probably a portion of your net worth that you are willing to risk going to zero, because there's a high percentage chance that you will, unless you invest in like your Bitcoins, Solana,
Mhm.
your Ethereums and such. But even at the same time, it's like those aren't going to give you 20x returns. Um, but definitely read what you're buying. Like a lot, if these companies do not have a clear use case that they're saying and like a product that they're actually building, it's probably completely going to be a vibe check, and you better be very sure that the vibes are good. If not, you may lose all your money there. And what is another one? Yeah, I mean, I would probably just like make sure you balance a good bit of it within like some of the brand name coins that are not going to go away, and then take a couple swings at some interesting up and coming projects that could be very compelling, and just keep an eye on it on a daily basis. And then also the last thing as well too is be very cautious of the fees. Like cryptocurrency moves up and down, the stock prices move up and down it's very volatile. So it can be very scary for a lot of people that invest in cryptocurrencies because they're like, holy cow, I'm down like $300 today. And then all of a sudden the next day you're like, oh my gosh, I'm up like $500. What the heck? Type of thing. It can be very tempting to like move your money in and out of the wallet, and that costs fees. Like Coinbase will charge you fees for moving your coins and trading your coins a lot, especially for some of these coins that are like very like low liquidity, like unknown coins. Like the fees can be like very, very high to process these trades. So you don't want to be just trading in and out like daily basis, like multiple times, because you will rack up like hundreds of dollars in fees. And that will just, kill whatever like money you actually did make on like it going up 10% today. So it's just like invest in things that you really believe in, invest in things that actually have use cases and actual like backing, or something that you through like homework really believe that this is going to be strong, and stay in it until it reaches whatever point you think it needs to, and then take it out.
Hmm.
But don't, unless it's like your major coins like Bitcoin or Ethereum or like Solana that are going to be around for a long time, I like to think, do not keep your money in these things forever. Like you will lose a lot of money doing that.
All right, well, I believe that's all the questions that Chris and I had prepared. So I just wanted to thank you for your time and all the great information. Um, yeah, did you have any more questions, Chris?
No, I think that's all for me today.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
I
Thank
can
you all.
stop the recording.